What up? It's your boy Thick Boy, and welcome back to my channel, Thick Boy TV. So today we're going to be doing a full review of the movie that just came out, which is called Venom, There Be Carnage, starring Tom Hardy and Woody Harrelson. But before we get right into that, a couple words from our sponsor. Psych! I ain't got no sponsor yet, but if you guys can like and subscribe and hit the bell notification for future content, who knows? Maybe if I keep doing these, I may get a sponsor at some point. So anyway, back to the video. Let There Be Carnage actually has a large cast of characters returning from the 2018 film Venom. Starting off the list is going to be Tom Hardy, who plays Eddie Brock, Michelle Williams, who plays Anne Wei-Hing, Reed Scott as Dr. Dan Lewis, who is Anne's fiance in this particular movie, and then finally it'll be Woody Harrelson reprising his role as Cletus Cassidy from the earlier movie. New to the cast, however, is two main characters that are in Venom Let There Be Carnage. The first is played by Naomi Harris, who plays Shriek, who is actually Cletus Cassidy's boo thing in this movie. And then last but not least is going to be Detective Mulligan, who is played by Stephen Graham in this particular movie as well. Surprisingly for me, one thing that threw me off a lot and I wasn't kind of ready for it was the director is actually Andy Serkis. You probably don't know his name right away, but he actually did two major movie franchises. One was The Hobbit in Lord of the Rings, where he played the character Gollum. You know, my precious. Sorry, I'm not good at that. I'm sorry. And also he played Caesar in the movie series Planet of the Apes. So it's definitely cool to see that he's he's directing in this case, and definitely like what he did with this movie so far. Typically for my movie reviews, I like to kind of explain the movie and then, kind of give you guys a reason why I gave it the grade at the end. I wanted to switch it up this time. I'm going to try to squeeze this entire review within 10 minutes. 10 minutes. I call it Thick Boys Review in 10. So in this case, I want to just go ahead and start it off, and by saying I definitely give this movie a yeah bruh, but I also want to give it a letter grade of a B. Here's why. So in this film, I feel like the direction of the movie between Eddie Brock in Venom and also Cletus Cassidy was kind of confusing at times. So basically we start off with Eddie Brock continuing basically where he led off in the first film Venom. But in this case, it's actually a conflict between now Venom and Eddie Brock are trying to become heroes. So if you remember, the main thing with Venom, he lives off of brains. So Eddie is convincing him like, hey, we can't eat people's heads no more. We're on the run for that. It's not going to work. So now, goodbye human brains, hello chicken and chocolate. And you'll know that once you see it in the film. We'll fast forward to now we still see that Cletus Cassidy is locked up and he asked for an interview for Eddie Brock. Basically, he's just looking for companionship because he feels Eddie Brock is about as broken as he is. So he tries to get him an exclusive clip or scoop to his life and try to become like the next Marilyn Manson behind prison. But Venom actually finds out through the clues of the wall and also through the clues of what he was given from Cletus Cassidy that they know where the bodies are, and they found all the bodies, and they got Cletus' death sentence escalated up where he's basically going to die tomorrow. So we fast forward to it. We see that Cletus Cassidy actually has a love interest with Frances Barrison, and she is Shriek in this movie. And we notice that from the flashback that she is, I guess she has superpowers. She can scream very loud on very high decibels and basically kill you with that, right? So her powers are getting too strong. She goes out and they take her to a prison and they separate her and Cletus from this like unwanted, it's like an orphanage for unwanted children. So they take her to this prison to control her powers, but during transport, a young Detective Mulligan, who was one of the transport cops, was actually attacked by Frances trying to escape. He shoots her in the eye, pronounces her dead, or he thought, right? We go back to the present. Cletus Cassidy is pissed off at Eddie Brock for finding out where the bodies were, and basically they get into a scuffle in the prison. Cletus Cassidy says some mean words to Eddie. Venom wasn't feeling it, tried to protect Eddie, attacked Cletus Cassidy while he was in his prison, and Cletus bit him and found out that, hey, your blood is not the same, something's not right. Then basically he pretty much got Carnage. Got a death sentence, lived, broke out of the prison. From there, he finds out where Frances is living, or where Frances, or aka Shriek, is staying, or where they have her house. He breaks her out. Now there's a fight between two parties. We have Cletus Cassidy, we have Frances Barrison, aka Shriek, and we have Carnage versus Eddie Brock, Detective Mulligan, and then we also have Venom. So the whole beat between those parties is Cletus Cassidy wants to defeat or kill Eddie Brock for destroying his name and destroying his infamy as the greatest serial killer of all time, and also for just not befriending Cletus, because that's what he wanted from Eddie. So he's kind of mad about that for whatever reason. Frances is trying to get rid of Detective Mulligan because, I mean, he left her for dead, and he also shot her eye out, so, you know, she's kind of mad about that. And then last is Carnage versus Venom. Carnage actually comes from Venom, so it's weird because there's certain parts in the movie where Carnage will actually tell him, like, I need to get rid of you, Dad, like in a father-son kind of scenario. But in short, Carnage just needs to be alpha, and he knows to do that, he needs to get rid of Venom, his dad. Okay, so now that we know that, we want to go ahead and just fast forward to Eddie Brock and Venom. For whatever reason, after the issue that happened at the prison, and then on top of that, the finding out that Anne is actually engaged to Dr. Dan Lewis, Venom and Eddie Brock kind of get into a little bit of a spat, a lot. It was a really bad fight. It comes to find out that they just figure like they wasn't compatible with each other anymore. Venom thought that Eddie Brock was just basic and he can do better on this world, so they actually separate. Who knew, right? So Venom hops from body to body, he goes and lives his free life, and Eddie Brock is now just becoming just a regular person at this point. But the weird part about this is during this time that they were separated, the symbiote Venom actually went to a rave. And what was random was a lot of people in the rave thought that was a costume, like, yo, hey, that's a great costume, when it really was him. But during this time, he actually finds out that he needs Eddie and he misses Eddie, because the whole time he's there, he's trying to prove a point that he doesn't need Eddie, when in essence he does. During this time, Eddie actually finds out about the breakout of Carnage, which kind of spooked him, and pretty much as soon as he finds out on the TV, conveniently Detective Mulligan is knocking on his door and brings him down to the precinct where they try to investigate him, kind of saying like, hey, we see all of this stuff that happened, including like the fight from Venom, the decapitated heads from Venom eating their heads and stuff from the previous movie. They threw all that on the table, and it's like, every time something bad happens, you're there. So explain it. This is at the point where he makes one call, Eddie Brock, and he calls Anne. Anne comes up, he tells Anne what is going on, like, hey, me and Venom are not together, and I need Venom to get out, and I need him to fight Carnage. So Anne actually goes and gets a call from the lady that actually is the owner of the convenience store that Eddie and Venom frequent. She goes to the police precinct where Eddie Brock was actually being housed because of the issue that was going on, and she breaks him out, which is Eddie, and then they actually reunite Venom and Eddie outside of the police precinct. So this is where we get to the part where now we get into the final fight. All right, so now we get to the point where everyone is at the church. We have the fight that's about to happen between Venom and Carnage and basically the rest of the crew, which is the opposing sides. Long story short, the fight happens. Carnage almost kills Venom. Venom actually manages to muster strength to stop Carnage. During this time, Francis actually runs up to try to attack the Detective Mulligan, who tries to escape the whole situation. She looks like he kills him, but she didn't kill him because his eyes turn blue, like they turn like a neon blue, and it meant something, guys. I'm sorry, I don't read the comics or follow it like that. So if you guys know, leave a comment and let me know, because apparently it doesn't look like he's dead, but yeah, I don't know what's going on with that. So that's Detective Mulligan at the top of the cathedral. So Carnage gets defeated in the attempt of trying to eat Anne in front of Venom. They all fall to the bottom of the cathedral. Carnage is eaten by Venom, and then Venom eats the head of Cletus Cassidy, thus ending the fight between Carnage and Venom. All right, so now that they fast forward to the next scene, and what we see Eddie Brock and Venom are actually at a beach, and you see these big old black feet from Venom putting his feet in the sand and all that funny stuff. But it gets to the point where they go back to the resort room at the end of the credits, and we actually see Eddie Brock and Venom in the bed watching TV, and Venom is like, hey, I know a lot of stuff as a symbiote that your small brain wouldn't be able to handle. And he attempts to try to show Eddie a piece of what he already knows about the galaxy, and then we see this weird glitch. And then pretty much from there, what we end up seeing on the screen is Spider-Man from the first movie he had, where basically it shows him being revealed as Spider-Man. And you see Venom actually licking the screen, and yeah, I think that's confirmation, guys, that Venom is going to be in the new Spider-Man movie, No Way From Home, which is releasing on December 17th, 2021. Cannot wait. So excited. Hopefully you guys stayed around for the full duration of the video. If you did, thank you. I appreciate it. But if you can, hit the like and subscribe button and the bell notification for future content. Keep on planning on pumping these things out in the future. But as always, Thick Boy out. Peace.